I'm so excited for this video. I find these super interesting. I know a lot of you guys have heard these before. I've heard these before, but I just wanted to make a video just in case you haven't. So I found a couple conspiracy theories that I want to share with you. So one of the most popular kid show conspiracy theories that I know of is the Rugrats. The conspiracy goes that Angelica is actually a paranoid schizophrenic, and all the other toddlers are just a figment of her imagination. So let's start with Chucky. The ongoing theory is that Chucky actually died with his mother during childbirth. That makes sense considering his father, Chaz, seems to always be on edge and always freaked out and anxious all the time. And that especially shows when he's in a social situation. The next one is Tommy. Tommy's theory is that he was a stillborn and his father just decided to make kids' toys all the time because that was his way of coping with it. The last one is the twins. Now apparently the twins are just figments of her imagination. They weren't really kids that died or babies that passed away didn't make it. They were actually just made up. The theory is that the DeVilles decided to have an abortion, and because they didn't know what the gender was, Angelica made a boy and a girl. Now this next one I never would have thought about, ever, in a million years. So we all remember the show Ed, Ed and Eddy. This conspiracy is kind of creepy if you think about it. It's just like really weird. Basically the theory is that everyone is dead. They're all living in their own little purgatory, which is why they're all in the same cul-de-sac. They're all just there all the time. They don't leave. If you look at all the characters, they all look like they've come from different times. Now, I never noticed that until I did some research and I read it, but I was just like, oh my god, that's so true. Now, this next one is the stupidest theory I've ever heard, and it's about Spongebob. The first theory I found about Spongebob is that apparently he is actually a tampon. Now, of course, someone would think of this because he's an absorbent sponge that lives in Bikini Bottom, but I found a much more interesting theory and less stupid. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of this theory, but apparently every character represents one of the 7 deadly sins. Patrick is a sloth, Squidward is wrath, Mr. Krabs is greed, Sandy is pride, Plankton is envy, Gary is gluttony, and SpongeBob is lust. Honestly, I think that's so creative. Like if you take just one idea, the 7 deadly sins, and then decide to make something bigger out of it. Like if you look at every deadly sin, that's like a character. If this is real, that's so smart, isn't it? Alright, this next one is the Powerpuff Girls. This one is really disturbing. I hate this theory. I hate this conspiracy theory so much. Also, these theories may be a stretch, but I'll tell you anyways. So apparently Professor Utonium wanted to make his own woman for his own sexual fantasies. But instead he made 3 little girls because it was easier to cover up, like, oh, I found these little girls and I gave them a home, instead of being like, where did that woman come from? Oh, I made her. Like, you know what I mean? That's just awful, and I hate that theory so much. Oh my god. Continuing on to really disturbing theories, the next one is about Mojo Jojo. Apparently he is their half-brother who looked at them sexually, and that's why Professor Utonium said don't be around him, he's not good, he's the enemy. Hence why he's always trying to capture them. That is such a stretch in like a fucked up way. I hate that theory, but that's the only one I could find, and I was just like, what? Lastly, him is their gay uncle. The reason he's seen as the devil in the show is because Professor Utonium is actually homophobic. Now that one kinda makes sense. Like, don't you think that's kind of fucked up that they made him the devil? Like, that's such a not... Oh, I love this theory. This one is about Hey Arnold. I know in the show his parents died in like a plane crash or something like that, and that's why his grandparents are raising him, but apparently his grandparents are actually his real parents. Because they're so old and they had a kid, the kid came out deformed, which is why he has a football head. Now the football head is because he has hydrocephalus, which is a real condition where your head is deformed, or it's just, it's a real thing. And it's more specifically known as Arnold-Chiari syndrome, which is why he's called Arnold. Because Arnold is bullied for his football head, he makes his own world and his own imaginary friends, and that's his life, which is why his friends also have odd-shaped heads. Now what's crazy about this theory is that it's not a theory. It's actually true. The creator of the show was in New York and he got lost and ended up in the poor area. He came across a 9-year-old boy. He had hydrocephalus and he was talking to nobody, and so the creator wanted to stop and talk to him. After they were talking for a while, he looked at his parents and they were obviously way too old to be his parents, you know, like they're just really old. And so that kind of made sense to the creator. He was like, oh, that's why this kid has problems. That's why this, that, and that. He found out that the kid made up his own friends and like actually hangs out with them and actually sees them. He knew that this kid needed medical attention and said, you know what, if you let me tell your story, I will come back and give you medical attention. Like, I will help you. So the kid was like, okay, cool. Like, what else was he gonna say? The creator went on to make Hey Arnold. Now, he was super successful. He never went back to talk to the kid. He kind of just like used that story for his own benefit, which is kind of fucked up. After the network found out about this, they decided to cancel Hey Arnold, which probably is for the best. I don't know. I cannot profit off of somebody else's misery, and that's just like, oh, that's so sad. That makes me want to wash my hands. Now, the last one I have for you guys is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. There are two conspiracy theories that go with this one. The first one is that Frankie is actually Madame Foster's imaginary friend. If you look at them side by side, they are wearing the same exact outfit. Apparently, she imagined a younger version of herself to help her take care of the foster home. But the weird thing is that Frankie has been on dates, and she has her own driver's license. So why would an imaginary friend need one? Unless that's imaginary too. Can that happen? I don't know. Let's move on to the next theory. The next theory is that Madame Foster is Frankie's imaginary friend. Apparently, Frankie's grandma died and she couldn't let go, so she created Madame Foster, which explains why she's so youthful and so full of life. I mean, I honestly don't know which theory to believe, because also, why would Frankie just stay at the foster home all the time? Like, she doesn't have a life and she doesn't go to school, she doesn't try to get a real job, like she's just always at the foster home. I don't know. But anyways, I just wanted to make this video because I thought these were super interesting and I loved all of these shows when I was younger. So it's kind of weird thinking of it in a fucked up way. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, then what did you expect? Comment down below what your favorite TV show was as a kid, and are there conspiracy theories about it? I want to know. Make sure to follow all of my social media, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. Adios, bitchachos.
Do you love me?